Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, June 18th, 2020. We are again in the final hour of the trading day. My favorite time of the day because one, I get to see everybody here in the chat, and number two, this is where I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades. I say this because at the end of the day, large financial institutions come in. They come in with size, meaning they're dealing with the most money. They have great technology, very smart people, best information. And at the end of the day, they start placing the majority of their trades, which takes the pricing control away from what the day traders were doing intraday and the algorithm. So I consider it smart money, and I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions based upon what the large financial institutions are doing. That being said, I did have some day trades today, had a few good ones, had one bad one, and I'll be showing you that, warts and all, when we go through my list. So anyway, let's take a look. Quad Racers here. Hey, Quad. Good to see you, buddy. Nice to have you here as always. Scatty13. Hello, Greg and all. Hello, Scatty. Nice to have you here. Hey, Kamal. Good chatting with you earlier. Marco. Hey, how you doing, Marco? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a nice evening in Sylvania. Bob Marchert is here. Good to see you. He says, hi, everyone. And Dan gives me the peace sign. Hey, Dan. Frank says, hello, Greg and group. Hello, Frank. Always nice to see you, my friend. All right. Well, interesting day today. It's been all over the place. It was just kind of a choppy, sloppy mess, but now we are starting, looks like we're trending a little bit. The Dow's down 174 points, down 0.67. The NASDAQ is down 16.63 points, down 0.16. And the S&P is down 12.8, down 0.41. So looks like the Dow is getting the worst of it today. Miko25. Hey, Miko. Good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a good afternoon. All right. Well, this is the plan for today. First of all, I can run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. Then some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with me. I am going to go through those as well. We're going to take a look, see how those are doing. After that, about halfway of the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about trader psychology, trader philosophy, good trading words of wisdom, things outside of technicals and entries and exits and support and resistance, more for the trader's mind, because we need a little bit of that, because that is the most important part of trading, in my humble opinion. After that, we're going to go, I've already gone down through my watch list, and I have identified some potentials, and we're going to go through those. I'm going to save time so we have more time to answer questions or more time to look at your stocks instead of just going down through the watch list, all of them one by one. I just went through earlier and noticed a couple things that might look good. But my requirements for even them being a candidate for the end of day trade is, one, make sure they have a confluence or a combination of indicators, right? I look at each indicator like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels. I look at those as potential groups of buyers, and you're going to increase your chances of having a profitable trade dramatically if you are in the company with as many other buyers as possible. If you're the only buyer and everyone else is selling, then you don't have a very good chance of it going up, right? So kind of take that to an extreme, flip it on its head, and the more buyers of company that you're in with, the better chance you have. So I look for a combination of confluencer indicators, or as another way to say it, look for a combination of different groups of buyers lining up on one time frame, ideally on two time frames if possible. Number two, just want to make sure I have a good risk to reward ratio. If I'm going to risk $100 to the downside based upon valid support, I want to be able to make at least $200 or more based upon resistance above me, likely resistance above me. And then number three, want to make sure that I'm always taking into consideration the correlation of my positions. Don't want to have too many stocks in the same category, in the same industry. And ideally, it's nice to go outside of equities into bonds or gold or silver to diversify even more. And then also, good idea always to look at your total account heat. Total account heat is how much of my total capital do I have at risk. Even if every single position is completely uncorrelated. 60% is the maximum that I put at risk. It doesn't have to be 60%, but that is my maximum, and I rarely ever have that. So anyway, I'm going to go down. I've already gone through. There's a couple potentials I'm going to take a look at. And if it looks good at the end of the day, I'll go ahead, purchase it at the end of the day. When the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. If you need any clarification on anything I discussed today, please let me know. If there's any stocks that you'd like me to take a look at, give you my opinion on, please let me know. If there are any stocks that you'd like me to look at before the close of the market that you would feel would be helpful to get my opinion on before the market closes, please put them in the chat and just put an asterisk by it so I know that it's time sensitive. I'll do my very best to get to it. And then if you have any changes for me, any new entries or exits that you'd like me to update on the board, if you could, please be so kind and wait till after the market closes, and then I will get to those so I have more time to teach and take a look at things, right? And it seems like every time I do it intraday, I get something wrong. So anyway, that's the plan. Appreciate you being here today, and hold tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks a lot. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okay, David is here. Hey, David, good to see you. David's having a good trade today. Kamal says USO has an under over 30 RSI on the weekly. Let's take a look over here at the weekly. Yep, it does. But you know, when you're trading a weekly bar, you want to wait till Friday, generally, to wait, because Friday is the end of the weekly bar. But yes, you're right. And that's good news for your oil position that you have right now, Kamal. MDB has a crossover. Kamal already has this, but when you're in a position and you have a crossover, that's always a good sign. It really is always a good sign when you're in a position, and then later you have the crossover, because that crossover, more people are going to come in and buy. That's how I look at it. Andrea's here. Hi, Andrea. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, ma'am. Kamal says GDX is my weed for today. Yep, gonna go through those and take a look in a minute. Frank has a poem for us. Block 1. All right, this is a 2-blocker. 2-blocker. Traders should practice what they preach, but the market always has something new to teach. An open mind is a must to learn, and patience and calm are a type of balm, for trading is best with a mind that's had rest. Boy, isn't that true. Let's take one more roll at it. Oh, 1 second. All right. Traders should practice what they preach, but the market always has something new to teach. An open mind is a must to learn, and patience and calm are a type of balm, for trading is best with a mind that's had rest. That's true. You know, having rest, getting exercise, these are all important things in the whole formula and the whole recipe for profitable trading. You know, having a calm life and getting good air and good food, and like Frank says, good rest. Perfect as always, Frank. Thank you so much for the effort. Steve Burns, hey buddy, good to see you. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Always an honor and a privilege to have you, Steve. It really is. I mean, have you here in the chat is it's just really great. So thank you so much for coming here. Steve says, excellent poem as always, Frank. I'm glad Greg is tweeting these and keeping a record of them. Yeah, I tweet them every day, just in case. I'm sure Frank keeps them. I hope he does. But if not, I've got you, Frank. When it's time for your trading poem book. Zach is here. Hey, good to see you, Zach. Nice to see you as always. Andrea says, Kamal, oh, ha, I get it now. At first, I thought you were referring to weed the plant. Taking the weeds out of the garden, I think is what he's talking about. Karen is here. Hi, Karen. Wiener Dog Trading. Hello. Good to see you. Kamal says AMAD. Yep. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go through the top 3. We talked yesterday about Kamal developing that new scanner, and I'm going to go through the ones that have the best setups for Kamal. Now, keep in mind, this is just the number that it spits out, right? Doesn't mean it's going to be a profitable trade ever, right? This is just counting up signals, and these are the ones that had the best score, but they could go crashing down tomorrow, so always choose wisely, right? Regardless of what the report card is on this, right? So here's Upwork, beautiful V1, higher low V1, return to back in the value zone. Here we're below, up, nice V1 here, nice sideways motion, then down. Be better if we could break out over this high, but we might do it at the end of the day. Let's look over at the weekly. Weekly looks like it has a V2, rejected the 50-week moving average, and it happened right about the 50% of the up bar move. So that one's pretty good. Let's take a look at AMAD. MAD also had a good score with the 520 crossover here above the 50 RSI. Had a MACD crossover. That's also good on the weekly. V2. Under 50, over 50, this is all good. It's all good. This would be, I'm a little concerned about this one because we have the previous high over here and it's already ejected the 1ATR channel. And then IBB did have that crossover yesterday on the weekly. We have a V2, so that one's pretty good as well. I would be a little concerned taking this with this big move up here already and rejection here. I like Upwork the best so far. So I'll watch that one at the end of the day. What else did Kamal have? MPW. Looks like it had a V1 earlier, a little high for my taste. It's above the value zone. Weekly in the value zone. Looks like it had a crossover last week. MACD's positive here. Looks like the MACD's come down. It's kind of kissing. Yeah, I don't quite like that one as much. MPW. Oh, sorry, that's the one we just had. CVX. Well, earlier it was a higher low V1 back in the value zone, which is good. Now it looks like it's untriggered. Let's look at the weekly. Don't like that big bar last week. That concerns me. I like the Upwork the best. Kamal says, Andrea, using Greg's analogy of garden with flower and weeds. Yep, that's right. Andrea said she figured that out. Okay, so let's go through, take a look what's happening here. All right, gold. So I did buy gold back on June 10th. I bought it with a 520 EMA crossover. I bought it at the end of the day. I bought half a position. It was a bit of an extended bar, and I thought, listen, if it comes back and backfills a little bit, I can get a little bit more. I got it here at about halfway. Puts my average price right here about 162.78. Hasn't done much. It's down so far. You know, went down here, recovered sideways, 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 down a lot more earlier, recovered. So I am down on the trade, but the 5 is still above the 20. Today, if the price closed below both the 5 and the 20, I would get out a half. And then when the 5 crossed under the 20, I would get out of the second half. If it moves up, I will phase out as normal. So anyway, gold's just gone down since I've bought it, but we'll see what happens. PayPal. Oh boy. Well, this is one of those days where my ups went down and my downs went up, right? It happens. It happens. I did short PayPal yesterday here at 164.06. Reason I shorted it, price has been going up and up and up and up and up, but the momentum has been going down and down and down and down and down, as you can see from the MACD bars. So yesterday we went above 70 and then went below 70. That was my trigger. There was some news intraday. I think there was an upgrade and it just went rocketing up. I'm glad it's off of its highs, thankfully, because I am short, but so this is a 1.77% loss at the moment. Earlier it was like 3%, so I'm glad it had a pullback. But that's the thing with shorting, you know, it put me in a position to hopefully have a small loss, although this is a bigger loss than I like. But if I was right, you know, giving me 2-3 times to the downside if I was right. But I'm not right, and unless this closes below 70 RSI, I'll have to go out and just take the loss on this today. UUP. All right. So Andrea and Quad and Gary and Karen, we all got into UUP back here on the 11th of June at 26.18. Under 30, over 30, V2, false breakout. No, excuse me. Well, yes, technically false breakout from this low right here. Next day it went up. I think I hit 2 profit targets. Next day down. Hit a profit target the day after that, hit another profit target yesterday, and did hit one again today. Got very, very close to that second profit target. I had it at 26.39, and it got as high as 26.38, so I missed it by 1 penny. It has moved more than 1 ATR for my entry, so in the coming days, if I get a close below the previous day's low, I will go ahead and just get out. If it rejects the 50, which is indicated by the blue line, it rejects the 50 RSI up here, that would also be a reason to lock in profits. But not a big move, but profitable, and I will take it. SPY, all right. So I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I sell it first thing the next morning. That is where I believe the edge in this approach is, by taking the overnight risk. But what got me onto this trade was this back test from Liz Ann Saunders since 1993. She's at Bespoke Invest. They tested 2 approaches. First approach, buy the SPY at the open in the morning, hold it through the day, sell it at the close. If you use this approach every day since 1993, you'd have returned a negative 13.9%. However, if you do the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk, sell the first thing the next morning, it would have returned 634.2% return. So this is what I do. I buy it every afternoon, I hold it overnight, I sell it first thing the next morning. So it's essentially like me holding SPY long term, but never during the day, just overnight. So past performance, no guarantee of future results. We know that it may never work again in the history of the world, but if I'm going to allocate money towards something, it's going to be towards something that has a good a good track record, and this does have a really good this does have a really good back record and results. You can see the blue line's the buy in the afternoon, hold overnight, sell the next morning. The orange line's the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. You can see over time, all this has done is go up, where the orange line, all it's done is basically gone sidewards and a little down, but there are ups and downs. So I position size conservatively, roughly about 10% of my capital every night. And so that being said, I did buy yesterday at the close. Sorry, I've got some other lines because I had some other trades in here. I got in at 311.66, and this morning sold right at the low at 309.98. So that was an overnight loss. But there's been some huge moves in this overnight. Here I bought, had a big move down. Here I bought, had a huge move up. Here I bought, had a big move down. Here I bought, had a big move up, and then a little gain yesterday and a little bit of a gain today. So let me take off these lines. Okay. So I did have a day trade here as well. Man, where is my trade? Oh, here we go. Okay, this is a short position on the 5-minute. Let me show you the 39-minute bar first. I took the trade over here right as on the 39-minute we were bumping up against the 20 EMA. So on the larger standpoint, this looked like resistance to me. Then I went down to the lower time frame, looking for my entry, and this was my entry right here. It was a V1 to the downside, also rejected the 200-day moving average. So on the 39-minute, I was up against resistance. At the 20, I lowered down to the 5-minute, saw the V1 entry, saw the rejection of the 200. That's why I shorted it. Immediately went down, 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 and then I covered here at 110.95. Was a nice run. So short at 311.98, and I got out at 310.95, so about $1. And the reason I got out, we went under the 250, then back over the 250. So that told me that was probably the short-term bottom. We also triggered a V1, a V2, so that's why I got out of SPY. Okay, had another short trade, and let me show you again how I use the 2 time frames. Back here on the 39-minute, when I was looking, we had gone down and then we had rallied right back up to the 200-day moving average. So that was resistance above. So I went to the shorter term time frame, which was the 5-minute. And I got out here, or I shorted here when it went above 50 and rejected the 50 and closed below, and it also closed below the 20. So if it would have the next bar would have closed above the 20 and the 50 RSI, I would have just gone ahead and got out. But remember, you have to use 2 time frames, and I looked at the 39-minute chart and I had resistance above me on the larger time frame. Then I saw this, took it, went down. I covered here when we got back into support. This market has been so crazy. Like 1 minute it's down, 1 minute it's up. And I thought, well, it was a nice 10-minute trade, shorting at 141.87 and getting out at 141.43. So it was a pretty good trade on that as well. And then Apple, I had 2 trades on, 1 winner, 1 loser. All right, so here's a good example of a double bottom with a bullish divergence. And what I mean by that is these bars here were deep, red, deep. We rallied, we got some green, we came back down, we tested the low. The MACD bars were not as deep. There's the divergence. And just because that happens doesn't mean it's an automatic buy, but my buy signal was here with this V1 and rejection of this lower range here, right? So in this one bar, it went below the previous bar, closed back above, also rejected this previous low, went back above, went up, kind of moved sideways. This bar was a little concerning, but then it rallied, and then it started to move up, up, up. And remember, sideways motion leads to moves, whether up or down, we don't know. But in this case, it worked for me. Sideways motion lead to moves. My trigger again was the V1. We moved up, we moved up, we moved up. Then I got out here with the close below the previous day's low. So I got in at 351.55 and I got out at 352. So 45 cents on the trade. Not bad. But then, not all of these are winners. Let's see. Where is my trade here? Sorry about that. Okay. Here, I bought here at 350.78. On this bar, we went under 30, back over 30, right? That was my signal. It moved sideways, moved sideways, moved sideways. This looked good for a minute, then came down, and then I had to sell for a loss here at 349.84. So I got in at 350.78 and had to get out at 349.84 when it closed below the 30 RSI. And then it's rallied ever since I sold it. But that's how it goes. So all in all, pretty good. I think 3 for 4 on the day trades, but that last one was kind of a bummer. All right. So let me take a little quick look, see over here. Glenn, hey Glenn, hi Greg, good to see you, buddy. Back in CRM with break above 185 and still holding Dexcom. Okay. CRM, didn't you? Oh, okay. I had David here, so let's put Glenn in here as well. Okay. Quad says, happy with UUP so far? Yep, me too. Steve Burns says, this has been a tough year. Renaissance Technologies down 20%. Yeah, the number one best performing hedge fund, quant fund in the world, down 20% today. Ray Dalio is also down 15%. One of the most famous investors, head of the largest hedge fund in the world, is down 15%. So buy and hold investors minus 3%. Perma bears about flat. Andrea says, Steve Byrne, it's a good thing that Dalio got his book out there before this. Well, that's the thing. The best traders in the world have down years as well, right? Glenn said, thought on LRCX. Oh, Lamb Research. I have a friend that owns Lamb Research. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I mean, we're right at here at the third ATR channel. Looks like we are still above this previous high. This, if you owned it, fantastic. But I wouldn't, Glenn, for me, when I don't buy up at these levels, because 92% of the time they come down, as you can see right here. Got right about there. That's when it came down. So I just don't think it offers a good risk to reward ratio the way I trade. But, if you're a momentum trader, this might work. But me personally, I wouldn't buy there. Oh, KLAC. Same. I mean, what I see here is the double top with the bearish divergence. Here we have a high with strong MACD. We pull back. Now we went higher or very close to higher with hardly any green. RSI divergence, MACD divergence, ATR divergence. To me, that looks bearish. Long-term, both in a solid uptrend. Yeah, for a long-term, right? But there's a difference. For a long-term trader, something might look good, but for a shorter-term trader like me, it might look overbought, Frank says, I have to laugh because I can see Ray Dalio's building from my window. No kidding. Wow. Well, wave and tell him hi from us. David says, I was out of CRM yesterday because of resistance. Oh, darn it. I saw that today and I was happy for you. You still had a good trade though. Steve says, great timing by Ray Dalio as he has pivoted to many other things. This year's market behavior has been different than most experienced traders have seen in 30 years. Yeah, I mean, what an anomaly. You know, with the Fed and situation we've had this year and the market going up with the fundamentals, I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts, I tell you. All right, let's take a look here. Frank did buy Walmart, I think right here about 117.96, is down $1.12 today. It looks like it's losing the 200, at least for right now, so pretty close to a break-even trade. SPCE, Kamal and Pinsky and Company bought this at 15.31, initially gapped up beautifully, then went down, was up earlier today, then went down, so this one is slightly underwater. REGN, Kamal had a nice trade here on REGN at 592 even yesterday, went up nicely. Today it's given back a little bit, but still in the money for Kamal. Snap, Frank, beautiful trade on Snap here at 1875. And, you know, this is one of those kind of longer term holds, and it has really, really paid off for Frank. Nice move up, and we had a little pullback. Up again nicely today, 0.78%. So this is a monster move for Frank, up about 17%. So congrats, Frank. CRM, okay, we talked about that. David bought this. This is a beautiful V1 false breakout to the downside. Immediately went up and then pulled back, and then another move up off of its high today. Alibaba, Frank had a nice trade here with the pullback into value, sideways motion, the 520 crossover. I remember a bunch of us bought it right here at the same time, went up. I think I got out right here. Other people got out about right here, moved sideways, went up a little bit, then came back down, and now it's rallied even higher. Yep, a little bit of a reversal bar here today. HLG, Howling Educational Group. So Pinsky bought this here at 40.51. It's basically been up and down and up and down and up and down, but it is up 3.51% today. So he is positive on the trade so far. Dexcom, Glenn bought Dexcom here at 375.16. Had a nice move up. Today it is down slightly, but no damage to the chart. Kamal did buy GDX, which is the gold miners, at 33.52 on this higher low V1. The next day it tested that 50 fib and kept it. Today it looks like it might be on the chopping block with a close below the 50. I think that was Kamal's trade plan on there. MDB, Kamal bought this V1 false breakout to the downside on MDB, bought it at 201.70. Up. So nice trade there. And then lastly, USO. Kamal had a beautiful, it was a pullback to value and a V1, bought USO here at 26.97, immediately went up, down a little bit yesterday, but today up 2.31%. So very good, some really good trades there. Frank says, I was stopped out of Walmart at cost basis. Okay, so break even is what you're saying. That is a sign of a mature trader. When you are up on something and it comes back and you don't want to let it turn into a loss and you get out at even. Very good, Frank. Awesome. Kamal says Disney. All right. Not bad. Close below the value zone, rally back into the value zone, then down, now a V1. I actually quite like that. Let me write that down. Let me do the numbers on that one. I do kind of like that. Yeah, so it's a higher low V1, right? Here's the V1, washes out yesterday's low, closes above the 50 RSI. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly and see what the weekly is doing. Holding the 200-day, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, I kind of do like Disney there. Glenn says, mega public companies equal winners. Ma and pa private company equal losers. Big corporations can survive COVID-19. Independents are in a no-win position. Yeah, there's definitely some truth to that for sure. Although I hope all of them can make it. You never know, but I hope they do. All right, let me just check something out over here. Okay. All right, so listen, before we go down through the watch list, before I look for possible trade entry at the end of the day, in the last few minutes, I do like to spend a few minutes each day, talk about trader psychology, trader philosophy, good trading words of wisdom. There's some really good Twitter channels out there, some really good Facebook channels out there that spend a lot of time and energy posting good sayings, for us to read each day. And I really appreciate these channels because every day I read some of these and I was like, boy, that really makes sense. And it's a good reminder to me. And this is from Lone Stock Trader at Lone Stock Trader on Twitter. If you haven't subscribed to him, I would suggest you do. Really good channel, post some really good information, good sayings. Let's see what he has to say. New traders' weakness is cutting their losses. And that's true. I see that with my students. I see that with a lot of people. When they first start, they have no problem holding, but it's the taking the loss that's the difficult part. Break-even traders' weakness is letting their winners run. And that's true. You know, cutting your losses is very important, but it's also very important that you have to let your winners run. You have to have enough winners to pay for all the losses that you're going to have. And you're going to have losses, no doubt about it. Hopefully they're small, but you need some big winners to pay for those losses. But so break-even traders' weakness is letting their winners run. So break-even traders can cut their losses pretty quickly, but they have a hard time letting their winners run. And, you know, that gets down to trader psychology is also, right? Profitable traders can do both. They can cut their losses quickly and they can let their winners run. And great traders can do both with large positions. And that is true. I know some people that, you know, trade with a $5,000 account. They buy a small position and, you know, they say, hey, I made 17% on a trade. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. And then when we talk about the position size, I said, you realize having that very small position makes it much easier to hold on to those winners. I said, if you doubled or tripled or quadrupled your position, then fear and greed would start kicking in and you wouldn't want to give that back, right? So lone stock trader is true. Great traders can do it with both, can cut losses quickly with a large position and hold on to winners with a large position. And honestly, that is the skill. That is really the skill that people need to have. Large position, this is a good example in this saying here, but I'm, a little conservative about taking too large positions, right? But the point is made. But, most people get hopeful when the stock's going against them. They get hopeful. They're like, it'll come back, it'll come back, it'll come back, right? But then when they have a winner, they get fearful. Oh, I don't want to give back the money. I don't want to give back the money. But honestly, for you to be profitable in trading, you need to switch it around. It's counterintuitive. It's tough to do. But when you have a loss, you should be fearful. When you have a gain, you should be hopeful, right? So whatever you're feeling, do the opposite. If you have a loss, be fearful and just get out. If you have a winner, then be hopeful. It's fine to be hopeful when you're in the green, but when you're in the red on a trade, be fearful. So anyway, Lone Stock Trader at Lone Stock Trader on Twitter. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And just reminder, please cut your losses quickly, get those weeds out of your garden, and let your vegetables and your flowers, your profits, in other words, let those run. Okay? Andrea says, we are a small biz and we got PPP loans, so it's been a huge help. Very good, Andrea. Good to hear that. Steve says, I'm rolling my SPY put today to a June 311 strike to buy more time. Oh, okay, good, because the 10 is above the 30 EMA on the VIX. So you are in the money on those puts so far, right, Steve? I would imagine you are, because the market's been down since you've bought them. Tilray, Bob says Tilray. I haven't looked at Tilray forever. This will be interesting. Glenn says TL. Oh, okay. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, it's a V2. It's a V2. Here's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. Bar 2 washes out bar 1. Bar 3 closing above bar 1's close, looks like. False breakout to the downside yesterday from this here. Above the 50, that's also good. So these are the positives. The negatives are that it rejected the -1 ATR channel above. That's the negative side of it. Let's look at the weekly. Well, the weekly was below the 1 ATR channel, came into the value zone, came back a little bit. Looks like there's a V1 here. Probably not a valid V1. I don't think it washed it out. To this week's bar didn't wash out last week's bar by more than 1 ATR, but you know, in the general context, it's good because you have a higher low V1 going on in the weekly, while at the same time you have a V2 on the daily. I probably, if it were me, I would probably wait for it to move into the value zone and then try to get a higher low V1 in the value zone instead of below the value zone, because now that's acting as resistance above. So that's my take, Bob. Glenn says TLT, a buy signal today with move above 20 EMA. All right, so we were below the 1 ATR channel. We did buy this here. You guys remember this? Bought that right here. That was a beautiful move. We got out right there. Yeah, I mean, some people, you know, that's their signal. If if it's above the 20, they buy it. It looks a little range bound to me. We're right back at the 50% fib. Here's the high, here's the low. We're right here at about the 50%. Definitely could be good, but I don't think it's something I would take. But listen, we all have different strokes, right? So MACD is positive. That's good. We're back over 50, so that's good. We went under 50, under 50, over 50, under the 20, over the 20. So that's all good. That's good. But for me, the way that I trade, I don't quite have a signal here, but Glenn might. Andrew says, I like to leave my weed growing. Steve says, my put is in the money, but not profitable. Oh, as the intrinsic value did not outpace the theta decay this week. So it's in the money, but the time decay worked against him. Steve says, I pulled my Roku weed yesterday and I turned it into a dozen roses today, and it turned into a dozen roses today without me. I saw that, unfortunately, Steve. But listen, that's trading, right? It's happened to everyone. You get out of something for a reason. I think Steve's reason yesterday was fantastic. You know, it rejected the 200, rejected the 250, V1 to the downside, and then it just got rude and went up immediately. And that's how it goes. But there's going to be times where you get out and it immediately goes down. It also does that as well, right? So we've all been there, Steve. And I've seen you take some monster trades. This one just didn't work out, but yes, Roku is rude, I have to say. Zach says, LOL, Steve. Andrew says, I hate Roku. Frank says, I find Tesla a fascinating stock at the $1,000 level. Yes, big psychological number there. Okay, couple I was looking at. I was looking at Goldman Sachs earlier with the V1 close back above the 200, but now it looks like it has lost that. Also looking at JO, we talked about JO. Didn't buy it yesterday. Had a lot of good signals here. False breakout, under 30, over 30. Looks like it's not holding halfway of a bar. I was considering buying this. Glad I didn't buy this. I think we all kind of agree that it was a little extended. It's close to that. It's close to that halfway. But I think I'm going to let that one go. So Disney does look fairly good with close below the 1 ATR channel into the value zone. Down, down, reversal back up over the 50 RSI. This one does look pretty good. And then the other one I was looking at was Upwork. So, if I look at the two between Disney and Upwork, I'm not going to buy them both. Disney, yes, it has a higher low V1. On the weekly, it's holding the 200-day moving average. MACD is positive on the weekly. On the daily, it is not positive. I would have to say I like Upwork better. The sideways motion, the nice V1 on the weekly. You also have a V2 that happens about halfway. So I think I am going to go ahead and buy Upwork today at the close. Now, let's take a look. Gold, I have gold down on the trade, but it's still holding the 520. PayPal was just a disaster. It's up 2.8%. I'm going to have to close out of this, but I would take that trade again with the upward move and the bearish divergence and the loss of the 70 RSI. I would take that trade again, but this one did not work out today, so I have to take the loss on that. UUP is doing fine. SPY buying at the close of the market. Had that nice little short intraday trade on that one, but I will be buying that again. But I had the overnight loss on that one. So frustrating day all the way around. The day trades were good. One of the swing trades was good, but like I said, my ups were down and my downs were up. Okay, IWM and Apple. I can get rid of those. So, buying SPY, holding UUP, PayPal, I've got to get out of. And looks like I'm going to buy UPWK, Upwork. And we'll see how that works. Hopefully it will be up working. Glenn says, Roku is going to be bought out. Yep, those are the rumors. Those are the rumors that I've been hearing. Look at Apple. See, I feel you, Steve. Exact same thing. Right? I stuck to my rules. I got out of Apple here, and it's gone up ever since. So that's how it works sometimes. All right, so we have about 10 minutes. So let's take a look at everybody's positions here. So Kamal and Pinsy on SPC Ace just slightly underwater. Kamal with the REGN had a great start to the trade yesterday, but gave some back, but that's still in the money. Frank beautifully in the money on Snap. Glenn bought some CRM today, I believe. Not sure the price though, Glenn. If you have a price, let me know. Alibaba down a little bit for Frank, but still a beautiful trade. Dexcom down a little bit for Glenn, but still a beautiful trade. GDX is holding right on. Currently, it's holding that 50% fib. It will be a photo finish, Kamal, to see if that holds. MDB also with Kamal down a bit today, but still nice profitable trade and beautiful trade for Kamal on oil, up 1.98% today. Frank says, with your permission, Greg, I'd like to share a great quote that can apply to stocks in a later block. Sure, absolutely. I'm not sure if I know apply to stocks in a later block. Oh, maybe another block of text? Is that what you mean? Sure, Frank. Love to see it. All right, what are these markets doing? All right, Dow's down 123. NASDAQ is still showing a little strength here, up 12 points, and the S&P is down 6. Okay, so again, my plan, I have to get out of PayPal, which just beat me up today. And looks like Upwork. And I think that's what it's going to be for me. All right, that's the plan. Boy, Upwork has not moved there for a minute, has it? Nope. All right, so I'm going to put Upwork right there. Yeah, nice higher low V1. Weekly, I like that it bounced right about the 50%, triggering a V2 on the weekly. Apple's gone back to almost positive. How dare you, Apple? All right. Okay, Glenn said CRM 185.11. Oh, nice entry. 185.11. Gotcha. All right, so that's up to date. Now Apple went positive. How dare you? How dare you? Look, I got out here. And then just this immediate, what happened? Holy smokes. All right, so we're in the last 5 minutes. Interesting to see what happens here. So everything making a big comeback off the low. Holy smokes. Well, gold's had a nice little rally at the end. That's good. All right. Let me take one more look at Disney. Okay, I'm going to go ahead right now and buy Upwork, and we'll see what happens. All we can do is identify a setup. All we can do is position size correctly, take our position, and have a plan to know what we're going to do, right? That's the key. We don't have any control over it after that, but we have to know what we're going to do regardless of whether it goes up or it goes down. Wow. Okay. There we go. All right, got out of everything and into everything. Make sure I got everything here. Upwork. And Upwork. All right, there we go. That is the end. Okay. All right. So, listen, if you have any updates for me on your positions, if you want me to take anything off the board, put anything on the board, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them for you. Before I do, just real quick, my daily plug, just let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I teach a course. It's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so it's a total of 15 hours. And I've been trading for 24 years. I've studied with 4 just outstanding mentors and coaches. Studied with them one-on-one also, by the way, and that's Stephen Burns and Dr. Alexander Elder, Carrie Lavorne, and Larry Williams. And what I teach in my 15-hour course is everything I've learned as a trader for 24 years and everything I've learned from my mentors and teachers, the gentleman that I just described. So it's a really good comprehensive course. I think the best way to learn how to trade or learn how to do anything is one-on-one with your instructor. And so that's why I offer the course. I think you'll really like it. You're going to learn a lot. It's very interactive. Basically, I teach the first part of the lesson. The second part of the lesson, I ask you questions. I have you teach it back to me. We do lots of chart study. You know, I ask you what chart's better and why. Where's your profit targets? Where's your emergency stops? You know, where's your trailing stops? Where's your ultimate profit target? I mean, all this stuff to create a plan to trade. And all we can do is have a plan, regardless of whether it goes up or down. We need a plan. And so that's what I teach in the course. So, you know, if you're interested in learning from me one-on-one and having the evening courses with me on Skype, please reach out to me. You can send me a message, an email message. My email is in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter at Gossett Trading on Twitter. And if you do reach out to me, then I'll get back with you and try to set up a Skype call. It's a free Skype call. There's no obligation whatsoever. I'm not going to ask you, do you want to take the course? I promise you. It's just a good call for us to get to know each other a little bit better. I want to learn more about you. I want to learn more about your trading and your challenges and your goals. And it's a really good time for you to ask me any questions about the course. And again, there's no obligation and it's totally free. Okay, I want you to know that. And then if you like today's podcast, if you found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It does help the channel grow. You know, if you find it helpful, if you find it useful, all I ask is you just hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here. All right, so let's take a look. Quad says, hey Greg, I sold Walmart and it is rejecting the 1 ATR in the 200-day. I am still in UUP. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. Oh, okay, you bought Disney also. All right. All right. Put you right about there like so. And where did I get into Upwork? I got in at $12.48. Okay, and I got into SPY at $311.78. Okay. Kamal says, got out of GDX. All right, pull the weed out, get the weed gone. Good. Bought Upwork. Okay. Oh, and you bought Disney also. Ooh, that was a horrible trade on PayPal. That's how it goes. That's how it goes sometimes. Holding Spice, MDB, REG, and USO. Right, got those. Miko says, I'm in Upwork. Okay. Oh, Frank is still in TLT. I'm sorry, Frank. All right. I know we all got in right over here, right? Right about there. All right. Nice day on that today, Frank. Get that correct. All right, Karen. Okay. Pinsky and Company, Holding Spice and HLG. Right. Gotcha on there. Gotcha there. Kamal says, Greg, I did not buy Disney. There is an error on your chart. Really? So you did not buy Disney. I wonder what the error is. I didn't buy Disney either. It's adjusted for dividends, so I don't. What's the error, Kamal? All right, so I still have gold, the 520 crossover. UUP still have hit the one profit target today, which is nice. I got rid of my big weed PayPal. Entered SPY here, 311.78. And Upwork, Quad, Kamal, Miko, Karen, and myself and Pinsy are in there. So who knows how it'll work out, but you know, we did have a V2, 50% of the big bar. We rejected the 50 week. On the daily, we had a nice higher low V1 up against the bar that's less than 1 ATR above the 50 RSI. There was an error. The error was Diz as the name. I'm not sure I understand. Frank says, I don't think I'd buy Disney even if I had a V8. Wow. Well, there you go. We need to come up with the V8. Nice, Frank. That was a good one. I gotta say though, I don't mind Disney here. I mean, on the weekly we bounced off the 200 day. On the daily we had a return to value or higher low V1 V2 in value with over 52 RSI. V8. It's good stuff. All right. Okay, any more updates that anyone needs? Any questions that I can answer? Please let me know. Andrew says, I've been holding a July strangle on Disney. Oh, interesting. What kind of strangle, Andrea? Or the levels, I mean. Wow, big rally at the end of the day. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody coming today. It's nice to see you all. Congratulations. Some of you had some really nice trades today. Always glad to see that. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to put my hiking boots on, head out into the mountains tonight. It's a beautiful day here. 105 and 140. Okay. So 140 here. And 105. All right. We'll put this, Andrea. Strangle. Okay, good enough. It's the first strangle I've seen on this show. Okay, thanks Kamal, appreciate that. Thank you, Dan. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. Please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today, just a smile or a wave or a hello. Just be pleasant. We need a lot more in that in our life, right? We all do. So two things: be good, be safe, and if you could remember, hit the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that as well. All right, so we will see what's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, last trading day of the week. Be interesting. Oh, Frank says, the quote reads, "What I have become certain of is that I have never gotten a seed to bloom by yelling at it or hating it. Digging it up to see how it's doing isn't so effective either." Wow, so that goes for trading or anything else, right? Wow, that's really good. What I have become certain of is that I have never gotten a seed to bloom by yelling at it or hating it. Digging it up to see how it's doing isn't so effective either. Wow, good stuff, Frank. Really good. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's a wrap. Have a good rest of your day and hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.